1, 2, 3.
When students begin high school, they are encouraged by faculty and administration, as well as upperclassmen, to get involved. It's the proven key to being successful at school. Attendance, academic achievement, and future success are directly impacted by a student's investment in their high school through activities. Some students take involvement to a higher level. In this episode of Senior Spotlight, we travel to Washington High School, where one student's contagious, can-do attitude and considerable foresight are paying dividends.
Hey, have a good week. Prepare mentally and physically. Let's go. 3, 1, 2, 3.
Before football practice is advanced placement statistics.
We would have to go back in, run a new equation, and switch the variables around.
Before that is strength training.
Good, come on.
Before that, Brody Etrheim gives up his senior year open lunch to play in Washington High School's jazz band.
I've known Brody since he started here as a freshman. He's an excellent student. He kind of is a student you get to know just because of his wide variety of activities. He's a young man who is obviously athletically talented and musically talented as well, and academically talented, so he's kind of a rare gem.
And before jazz band?
He's one of 13 students in an AP Physics 2 class, which obviously we only have 13 students left in the class, which makes that rare in itself.
Rare is something you'll hear a lot with Brody. After all, he's not just on any football team. At the time of this recording, Washington was undefeated going into the 2017 playoffs.
Yeah, we've had a good year. This senior group has been with us for 3 years, and obviously they've had some good success, and their leadership has been amazing. They've really carried us on to this point, and they're a talented group. Very proud with where we're at. We've had a little bit of adversity. We didn't play well at times, but we've also been able to win games the whole time while we're doing it. So we've learned from those, and hopefully we can continue to build upon it.
So obviously he's on the football team, which obviously we've had a very strong football team in his high school career. And then he also participates in wrestling. And then outside of that, then he's in jazz band and he gives up his open lunch during his senior year and plays in a jazz band to perform for the school and things like that. So that's wonderful. He's also involved in student council, which is one of his strengths. He has rose into a leadership type position this year, according to the student council advisor. He steps up, has a lot of things to say and volunteers for things. So symphonic band is our highest level of band, and that Brody happens to be in that this year. And so those students are gifted and hardworking as well, and so it's a big deal. And it's really impressive that he has stuck with band all 4 years. Sometimes students who especially become involved in sports and things like that, the band kind of takes away from, like I said, he doesn't take his hour open lunch. All of his friends have open lunch. He goes and plays in the jazz band though for half of his lunch period, and then quick eats some food and heads off to class, which is an incredible testament to his dedication to that. And his wrestling coach, everybody who I asked had nothing but wonderful things to say about his work ethic and how he continues to push himself to do the best he can.
Just to work hard and to give everything they got and be positive. Help the young guys, teach them how to do things for the future, how we prepare. How we prepare in the weight room, how we prepare coming out. We do our push-ups before if you didn't notice that when you walked on the football field, everyone does push-ups. Just the little things, tighten up your shoes, and just the little things that the discipline things, so that I don't have to constantly, or us coaches have to constantly be on guys, and the good positive leadership in the locker room and taking care of everybody else. And I think this group has been perfect at doing that. Oh, Brody's a great kid. He's always been a type of kid that's always team first type of mentality. He's again, it's a talented class, so he has to has spared some time with, share some time with the other classmates, and getting on the football field. He's always the first guy to, if you need him at something, he'll do it. He's a team first guy, and you never hear him complain. He's just a positive individual. Off the football field, Brody's what you see, what you get. He's a go-getter. He's a yes sir guy. He's fun to be around. He's enjoyable to be in the weight room with him, and in the hallways. He's always, like I said, positive. He's always, he's a pretty disciplined guy. And around him, if people are messing around, and he's going to be telling them right and wrong. And again, he fits in perfect with this class. There's a lot of different personalities, but they all seem to have the same vision. He's a backup linebacker. He'll help us in some certain packages that we do bring out there. He has gone down, put his hand in the dirt for us in the past, either on the offensive line or the defensive line. He's vital. He always works very, very hard. He gets the most out of his ability. He pushes himself. And like I said before, he's just a team first guy.
The biggest role for us seniors is to set an example so the classes behind us can follow in suit and keep the traditions alive that we have. We want to set a winning attitude, and that way classes behind us, no matter what, they're working hard and they're focusing just like we have been. I'd like to say we're unique. We've got a brotherhood I think that's unparalleled in the state. We do everything together. We've known each other for years. It's just a brotherhood that's beyond anything. I've always been passionate about football since 3rd grade when I started, and obviously it's athletics and all that. I've done the powerlifting, everything there, just kind of build it, and just the guys here is one of the main reasons why I play, because you can't beat the brotherhood that we got.
His longtime passion for football makes this all the more surprising. Brody actually missed the first 2 games of the season, though it could be said his teammates were the ones who missed him. The reason?
Obviously, he achieves a lot in the classroom and outside the classroom here at Washington High School, but probably one of the most unique things about him is he spent a summer at boot camp between his junior and senior year, which is a tough thing since it's hard to get most students going into their senior year to get out of bed. Brody enlisted and went to boot camp that summer, so and he plans to use the military to help pay for his education after high school.
We spent 3 months in Fort Benning, Georgia. This guy's an experience, kind of takes you away from the rest of the world. You got 100 degrees, humidity, and again, it's another brotherhood down there too. It's just, it was tough, but as long as you kept pushing forward, and like the attitude we have here day by day is all you need to do to get past.
Yeah, last spring we had a conversation, and he goes, I want to do it in the summer and do it the next 2 summers so I don't miss, college and all that. And he goes, this is important to me, and how do you feel? And I go, absolutely. If it's important to you, then it's a big step, because that's, after high school, you're still going to be doing this, and you're going to serve the country, and you're going to go into college and become the man you are. And absolutely, I support you 100%. And he missed out on a lot of the summer stuff, and we wrote letters to each other while he was gone at camp. And he said that, yeah, I'm missing out on that, and I kind of regret that. And I was like, no, you're doing a wholly new experience, and you got to embrace that. And he came back, he missed the first 2 games, and the night he came back, we happened to be playing Roosevelt, and he was on the sideline with us, and it was good to have him back. And he went right to practice. The next day we practiced with him and got him his practice time in, and he was right on board again. Just same old Brody, nothing changed, and he was all excited to be back and be around the guys.
As you might imagine, basic training has its benefits on the football field.
Basic training, gotta say basic. There's times there where you're spending full days of just never know what's gonna happen. It's like a 24-hour wrestling practice, and that's just, anybody who's wrestling knows that's just awful. Came back, 35 pounds lighter. We'd start conditioning. I'd be like, this is not too bad. I could do this all day.
While this might seem like an uncommon choice, those who know Brody best say it absolutely fits with his forward thinking, his drive, and his tireless work ethic.
Very goal-orientated. From the time he was probably, I think, in middle school, the strength and conditioning coach, Coach Hopper, said that Brody has always been hardworking and what can I do to get better? Always asking that question, what can I do, how can I improve? And he's willing to take that advice and will work hard at it.
He is unique in that sense, like he's very involved in everything. We always kind of make fun of him, we call him our Labrador, because he's just got so much energy and he's always running around and doing whatever he can do. He's a team Labrador, we always sit in the weight room, because he's constantly going 100 miles per hour. And he's fun to be around, he's a big lovable guy, and he's positive, and like you said, he's involved in everything. That just fits Brody, who he is. He's going to be involved in everything.
Earlier, you heard quickly about wrestling. It's another thing coming up for him.
I started wrestling last year. Friends recommended it and I wasn't doing anything, so I figured I'd try it out. And I think I was 50% wins. First year, it's a harder sport than I'd think. It's a new experience, but other than that, I really enjoyed it. I plan to do it again this year.
As for next summer and next year,
This coming summer I'll have another advanced training, which I'll do 3 months, and I'm not quite sure where I'll go yet. They'll let me know soon. Then I'll go into college and enroll in an ROTC program, which is an officer cadet school basically, where I'll do my 4 years of college getting my major along with officer training.
he'll do that at the University of Nebraska. And unsurprisingly, he'll continue to have his eyes on the future.
There are times I like to live in the moment, and that's when I'm with friends and all that, but if I'm always planning ahead, then nothing's there to surprise me. So it took me a while to decide it. I've always kind of felt I wanted to go in the Army, but I was trying to think of the best way to do it, to also get my degree and set up the best way I could. So this way, I signed a 6-year contract when I turned 17. So that way, by the time, I could have 20 years in the Army by the time I'm 37, which is, to me, that's huge.
As for other activities at college, he has plenty of options to choose from.
Not so sure about football and wrestling, just because when I plan to go, my unit's down in Nebraska. So that's why I plan to go to college down there. And obviously D1 level, hard to get into. But if I could continue doing band or any other activities in college, then we'll do. I've been in band since, I think, 5th grade when you start. And my mom's what really got me interested in music. She's been playing piano her whole life, and my sister loves music. And then when I got to high school, wasn't really quite sure I wanted to continue with band. And then I got introduced to jazz band and pretty much the difference between middle school and high school bands. I really became fond of it, and that's how I continued on, and it's a fun time every time.
If Brody looks familiar or his last name rings a bell, that's because his twin sister Megan was our first senior spotlight of this year.
He just comes from a great family. His family, his sister I had in class, and they're very similar creatures, but yeah, they're good people. And you can tell that they push their kids to be the best they can. And obviously, when you have good parenting, you can see it in the classroom, you can see it on the football field, in the weight room, and they're goal-oriented. They're constantly telling their kids the goals that they want them to set, and the kids are focused in it, and a good family to have at Washington.
For someone who spends such considerable amounts of time planning ahead, he's not forgetting where he's at today.
My senior year is pretty much just trying to live in the moment with these guys, because going to basic, from all those different guys there, majority of them having already graduated high school, taught me a lot about how you probably won't see a lot of these guys again. So I'm just trying to make memories and make the best of this year as I can.
And wherever he ends up, he'll leave a legacy behind.
Absolutely, Brody's going 100 miles per hour. He gets the most out of his God-given abilities, and I always tell him, I go, you're making God happy, because you're pushing yourself to the limit, and that's exactly what he wants. And like I said, it goes back to that. He's our team Labrador, because labs are fun to be around. They're great, great personalities. They're always going 100 miles per hour. That's Brody, and he's a yes sir. Like, Brody, I need you to do this. Yes sir. And boom, he's gone. He's doing it. And so. He's fun to be around, and the rest of the guys love him, and he's a great teammate.
All-around kid. Very rare in the fact that he's the band, student council, athlete. He does it all, and then on top of it, he does well in his classes and challenges himself with AP classes. Washington is, we strive ourselves in our diversity. That's one of our greatest things, and Brody is a diverse young man. He will go to band and sports and do everything in between and study for his AP classes and boot camp, and so he epitomizes what you want in a student, someone who will try different things and reach out to their different communities and different groups.
To see more of Brody, you can find upcoming football games, wrestling matches, jazz and symphonic band concerts, and more on the Washington High School page of the Sioux Falls School District's website. Just click the calendar.